The ZTE Blade Zmax, the predecessor to the ZTE Zmax Pro. So, how good are these camera samples on this dual camera phone? Let's begin. So, as I said, the Blade Zmax is a predecessor to the ZTE Zmax Pro. The ZTE Zmax Pro had its own great camera that I say could compete with some higher-end phones. Then the Blade Zmax improves on this by adding an extra 2-megapixel rear-facing sensor to make dual camera, which makes extra features that you can have. Some people may say, oh, this is just a gimmick, blah, blah, blah. But no. Even though you may say this, I don't think this is a gimmick. I think this is something that could actually be used. So, this definitely is not a gimmick. I don't think so. I think they're doing this because they want to add more features to the phone. Because people loved the last one. Now they want this one. So, to talk about it, rear-facing cameras have a 13-megapixel f1.8 aperture lens. Then the secondary camera is 2-megapixel f2.0. The video quality is 1080p at 30 frames per second, and I think, in my opinion, it looks awesome. The front-facing camera has 8-megapixel. I don't know the f-aperture. I don't care. I don't think most people do. It's just a stupid little selfie. Unless you don't think selfies are stupid. Otherwise, it's just a selfie. So, with that being said, the Zmax Pro, as I said, had excellent camera. I wonder how this actually performs. So, inside the camera itself, in the camera, the options are you can either have the video or you can have pictures. So, in the front-facing camera, there's a beauty mode and there's original mode. So, beauty mode does not have to be on 24/7 like on some other phones. And on the rear-facing camera, there are 3 different types of modes. I think there's pro mode, there's video, there's a regular, and then there's the dual camera help. Now, the dual camera with the regular mode helps to improve on the camera quality a little bit, some detail. And the other modes are, there's the bokeh, which is basically blurred out background, which you see over here. There are the just portrait mode, which is like on Apple devices and some other dual camera phones, which basically just blurs out the background but has a different effect. And then there is the monochrome mode, which you can block. You can make it that instead of having every color there, monochrome is can do black and white. It can do making the red, blue, or green. So if you have red flowers, it'll pop out red flowers. If you have a blue color, it'll pop out that blue color and make everything else black and white. Same thing with green. Now, the nice thing about this is it just makes everything look cool. You can make cool professional shots really easily on this phone. And with that bokeh effect mode, that mode allows you to be able to take your camera shot. Let's say you have the phone, you have my hand. You want to focus on the phone, you can tap on the phone. And the part after you take the picture, let's say it didn't focus correctly. Let's say I was doing this, I was focusing on my background. You click on the phone, it'll blur out the background. Now, some of this may also be some just fake effects, maybe. But it could also do it where it captures certain parts of the quality of the image. And then if you're going to transfer it over, it completely saves that part of the image. So you tap it, it'll focus on the phone. Tap my hand, it'll focus on my hand. So there are just different types of focuses you can do. And then if you don't want the blur at all, you can just tap on the background, it'll all go away. You can change the aperture too. So you can fool around with that. You'll learn how to actually use that, and that can basically make it where it's instead of having it completely blurred out, you can make it that sort of blurred out so it doesn't look like a big mess of blur. You can make that you can see a tiny bit of detail, make it cooler on the eyes depending on the photo. But without further ado, I do want to get in these camera samples. I took a ton of different samples. I took 2 videos. One with the rear-facing camera, one with the front-facing camera, because there isn't really much to talk about with the video other than how does the microphone sound and how does the stabilization look. So without further ado, let's get into the camera samples now.
So this video is taken with the standard resolution, and as of right now you can see it's actually pretty stable. This is dual camera. Let's see the right here, right here, right here. This is a little video test. This is how well it focuses. So here's my hand. Focus. Hello, focus. Okay. It's not so fast with front, but it's okay. It's good.